Chapter 10. Yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I'd never amount to nothing, to all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling in front of, called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. It's all good. And all the niggas in the struggle, you know what I'm saying. It's all good, baby, baby. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper, and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall, every Saturday Rap Attack, Mr. Magic, Marley Marl. I let my tape rock till my tape popped. My road to Big Sandy started in late 1994. Me and my friends would sit around a floor model television watching a fuzzy program called The Jukebox. We could call in and request songs that would be charged to one of my friend's grandmother's telephone account. We would order Biggie's Juicy back to back. Like Biggie, it was all a dream. There were usually 5 of us watching Booper's grandmother's floor model, while his mother was upstairs smoking cocaine base with Uncle Bobby. Booper's Uncle Bobby was a pimp and a drug addict who sold cocaine to support his own habit. It wasn't long before me and Booper started putting together a plan to get paid and blow up like the World Trade Center. We were 15, but motivated by our circumstances. Poor white kids from the ghetto. We wanted more than we had. We stole empty cocaine bags out of Uncle Bobby's dresser and filled them with baking soda. My career as a street hustler began when we passed off 11 bags of baking soda for cocaine to one of Bobby's customers. Before long, we were buying real cocaine in small quantities and packaging it up in $10 bags. We were becoming the guys we looked up to in our neighborhood, the hustlers, the cats standing on the corner, guns tucked in their waist, shooting dice and selling cocaine all day. To us, they were the villains, the heroes, the people we aspired to be. They had money, cars, nice clothes, women. We had nothing but beat-up starter jackets and ragged Bo Jackson series Nikes. At 15, I wanted to be like the white kids from the suburbs. I wanted a car at 16. The difference between us and them? My single mother was just as broke as me. She was not buying me a car. I was determined to get my own. Like Biggie, I was reaching for the stars. I cocked my starter hat to the side and set out for the block with a pocket full of cocaine. Little did I know, I was slowly walking my way from Rochester, New York to Inez, Kentucky. Chapter 11. The meeting on the yard is getting ready to begin. Different guys in the car greet each other with fist bumps and handshakes. Before long, we all form a circle around Stevie. Stevie looks more and more like Casper the Ghost, especially under the lights as the night approaches. The meeting was supposed to be so all the guys can get acquainted with each other. A quick head count tells me there are over 70 white guys in the car that I joined earlier. Like most things, the more one has, the stronger one is. In the prison context, the more soldiers you have, the stronger your army. The stronger your army, the more influence you have. As the men come together, Stevie calls for silence. Once he has the silence, he delves into a profanity-laced tirade about how bad white gang members are. He tells us how they try to victimize good white dudes like all of us. Stevie tells us that if we did not have each other, we would be victimized by these heathens who thrive on victimizing their own people while hiding under a phony cloak that they represent the white race and help whites. I scan the men among me, bobbing their heads in agreement to Stevie's every utterance. It looks like they are under a Jim Jones trance. According to Stevie, our car is the only car that has the men to stop the oppression because we have the numbers. He reminds me of Ronald Reagan giving one of his great speeches before a crowd of onlookers. He knows how to engage his faithful minions, how to incite them with the threats of fear from his opposition, and how to engage them to commit violence if the situation calls for it. It is easy to see that he has manipulated these men to believe that he is their king. As the speech continues, it becomes evident that this hatred is directed towards a guy from California named Bam. Bam is the shot caller for the Aryan Brotherhood gang, which is by far the strongest white gang in the federal prison system. The Aryan Brotherhood developed back in the 1970s as an organized predatory gang. The gang's main interest was protection, extortion, and narcotic sales in prison. This ruthless white gang also took on contract murders for other prison gangs and individuals. The gang was merciless in the 1970s, with a reputation for being thirsty for blood. To this day, they have zero-tolerance policy for disrespect from others, staff and inmates alike. While they may not have the grip on the prison system they once had, they still have a mean reputation. The Aryan Brotherhood lives by a creed that says, "An Aryan brother is without a care. He walks where the weak and heartless won't dare. And if by chance he should stumble and lose control, his brothers will be there to help reach his goal. For a worthy brother no need is too great. He did not but ask, fulfillment's for his fate. For an Aryan brother, death holds no fear. Vengeance will be his, through his brothers still here. For those brotherhood means just what it implies. A brother is a brother till that brother dies. And if he is loyal and never loses faith, in each brother's heart will always be a place. So a brother am I, and always will be, even after my life is taken from me. I'll lie down content, knowing I stood, head held high, walking proud in the brotherhood. This is a gang that was formulated on principles, a gang that had structure. Their penchant for violence only escalated their rise to notoriety. Serious members such as Tommy Silverstein would not hesitate to uphold their secret creed. Bam was cut from the same cloth as Silverstein. He held what Stevie aspired to possess, the keys to the yard. Stevie wants to be the head honcho for all the whites at Big Sandy. Bam is standing in his way. An obstacle to that ultimate goal. The agenda to take control is being pushed further every day. Stevie begins to close. He tells us all, remember, men, together we can conquer, but as individuals we will fail. This line must have been stolen from General Patton himself or some other great military leader. He warns us that we are going to move on the white gang members soon. His speech has riled up the crowd. The convicts among me look thirsty for action, with no regard for any consequences that might come from an attack on the gang members. Before the meeting ends, Dennis grabs the floor. You have 2 weeks to get your paperwork together, he tells all of us. The car is having a paperwork party in the near future. It is clear that in the event something goes wrong, the powers that be want to make sure that no snitches slipped into the car. Realistically, though, with all the cameras in the prison worrying about someone telling on you in the event you kill another convict is a facade. The cameras are all that is needed. Dennis continues, you all need a knife. Everyone has to have at least one. For those who did not have a knife, he assured us that he had one for us once our paperwork checked out. All in all, Dennis is truly for the car. He believes in it, in the brotherhood. His aspirations are much like Stevie's. He wants to be the shot caller for the Boston car in prison. Prison is all he knows. Dennis walked in at the age of 19 with a 30-year sentence for robbing a hotel for less than $200 and a PlayStation. Many of Dennis's hopes and dreams dissipated when the judge handed down that 30-year sentence, just like my own. He walked into prison a young man. His sad reality is that if he ever makes it out of prison alive, he will be leaving an old man with nothing in life. His story is the same as so many of ours, crushed dreams. The faces of the men behind these walls tell the same story. There is not much to live for when your reality is coming to prison young and walking out old. Perhaps that is why the Aryan Brotherhood Creed says, for an Aryan brother, death holds no fear. While the truth may not hit a prisoner right away, it happens eventually. When it does, it hits like a ton of bricks. Mine didn't happen when my judge imposed my 40-year sentence. It was when I returned to my lonely cell that night that going to prison young and leaving old became my reality. In the back of my mind, I knew I had to do everything I could to change the trajectory of my destiny. Prisoners deal with this pain, this despair, in different ways. Some opt for suicide. Others numb the pain with drugs. Some lash out with violence. Others just deal with it. Many in this position find something to hold on to. Dennis did that. He latched onto this make-believe car, hoping he would be the shot caller someday. The car became his life. He was living for the car, nothing else. The same could be said for Stevie. Life as he knew it was over with. Whatever prospect he once had of ever leaving prison a free man is gone, swept away like a rushing river with the denial of his last appeal. When he leaves prison, it will be in a body bag as a hearse delivers him to his final resting place. Stevie is the kind of man who has to control something. His mind would crumble otherwise. He had to formulate this car and elect himself the shot caller. To keep the car moving, he has to create his own problems. This occupies his mind and keeps him from dwelling on his reality, the body bag and the hearse.